Welcome to your Sunday Lovestream, a Soulful Insight that actually came to me today, which is Monday, but I'm still gonna put it on Sunday because I get credit. So yesterday I was at the Apple Store, and the Apple Store is the place of last resort for a techie like me. So I had done everything in my power to try to figure out what was going on with my new Apple Watch, because it wasn't doing what it was supposed to do, and I had gotten it to about 80%, but had also figured out that 80% wasn't going to be good enough, and I needed to bring in the pros. For a personality like me, the Apple Store is an absolutely overwhelming experience, and I get into a movie mind of anxiety thinking about what it's going to be like. So kind of buckled up and did it anyway. And the reason that I'm live streaming about it is because I figured out that I do two things that might be helpful for you. When we're not present, being mindless, not being in the moment, is either the direct or indirect effect of all our suffering. Because we're having fun, we're in the moment, we're laughing, we're in the moment. Everything good happens right in the now. And I know that from an intellectual place, and I know that from an experience place, but putting myself there when I am in organized chaos is fairly difficult. And that wasn't even a stressful situation. I mean, on the level of like 0 to 1,000, that might have been a 10. But I'm sitting at the back of the Apple Store, which is huge and beautiful, and I happen to be placed in the middle back wall, so I can see the entire thing all the way facing the doors. It's fascinating. So I'm either doing one of two things to get back into the moment, and this is actually a shortcut from Ellen Langer, who is one of my favorite psychologists. She's the first psychologist to be tenured at Harvard in 1981. Badass, right? She's also been studying mindfulness for 40 years. And she kind of gives us a shortcut to the sort of pillow approach, sitting approach. They're all trying to get us all of the ways to mindfulness, the different types of meditation and things that put us in our present, are doing one thing. They're training us to discipline our mind, to focus our attention. So the shortcut to that is to notice what you notice, kind of see what's new, what's novel about the situation. And so the first thing I'll admit that I did is I kind of freaked out about the past. It was overwhelmed at all the energy and emotion that was going on in that space. And by nature, the first thing I did was try to resist that emotion, which doesn't do anything but intensify that baby. And then I remembered, if I let this just kind of flow through me, it's going to be gone in a minute and a half, 90 seconds. You can time it with your watch. So once I put my attention on this emotion will pass, I am not it, then I moved on to my second tool in my toolbox. And that is just noticing, just being curious about what's going on in the space. And then I became fascinated with, guy on the right, experience on the left, the patterns emerging from the entire space. And I was in the moment. And then, and only then, was I able to sort of open myself up and finally turn to the guy who had been working on my watch for, 10 minutes, and say, it's organized chaos in here, isn't it? Just sort of in a vulnerable way, like I'm freaking out right now. And he looked at me and he's like, yeah. And then he shared this really interesting insight, this experience with me. And that was, that the emotions here, they come in waves. They move literally from one side of the room to the other, and then they move back. And I thought that was fascinating. And so just by opening myself up to that moment, I was able to make a connection. And then him and David got into a chat, because David makes friends with everybody. But that's why I'm here with you today, to share those two insights. These are the tools that I use in my life when I get off kilter. And I think they might be helpful to you. So if you want to look up Ellen Langer, she's got a ton of cool stuff. I love her YouTube videos, and I think her favorite book of mine right now is The Power of Mindful Learning, because it's really sort of the foundation of setting my folks up for success. This is the way that we learn. We don't learn, based on what we know of the past, but we open ourselves up to possibilities of the future, focused on sort of the limits that are there. That's what she does, I think. Prove me wrong. Don't trust me. But that's what I'm getting from her stuff. So, so good to be with you. I am back. Don't know how long I'll stay, but I'm loving it while we're here. Bye.